Hey everybody, it's Chief Meteorologist Brad Penovich. I want to talk about our snow chances later this week, but before I get to that, please, everybody out there, please say a prayer for Ryan Newman. As everyone else, I watched the end of that race and just sick to my stomach about that crash. Let's hope that Ryan is okay. It looked pretty bad. And I have a lot of friends in the NASCAR community and living in Charlotte, so I just want you to please say a prayer for him and his family tonight. They definitely need it, everyone in NASCAR, because it definitely was a scary situation at the Daytona 500 tonight. So let's get on to the snow potential for later this week, because there is the potential there. A lot has changed since last week as far as where we are on my checklist of winter rules. We're 7 to 10 days out. We were watching that favorable pattern. We have that. That pattern never really went away. Now we're in the 5 to 7 day range where it's trending up a little bit. But this is one of those interesting setups here where it's trending up for not everybody. We're now in that 3 to 5 day range where I think this is going to be a snow rain event. We can pretty much take sleet and I think ice out of that situation. But there's still some uncertainty that I need to talk about tonight. Now, where's the system right now? It's still really off to the west, and there's really two parts to every winter weather system. You've got cold air first, and then the storm itself. These things have to work in concert for us to get snow, and I'm going to explain why this is such a difficult thing to happen around here. So we get with the first front. The front comes through. This is our rain for Tuesday and Wednesday. It moves through. So this ushers in the cold air. So what we see happening is high pressure is going to be up here at the top of the screen. Front stalls and low pressure is going to form along the front and then move to the east. Okay, so this is our moisture source. So the track of that is key, but also the track of the high up there is really key. So as we go towards the end of the week, you can see we've got this kind of battle between where's the moisture and where's the cold air. Cold air is trying to work its way down. Moisture is trying to work up. Couple things happen here. This high gets too close to us. It brings us colder air, but guess what else it brings with us? Drier air. If this low gets closer to us, it brings more moisture, but it also brings warmer air, which counteracts the snow. So you have to shoot the gap or have that fine line between just enough cold air, hopefully a deep cold air, and the moisture overrunning. Now, in the perfect situation, this is a monster deep cold low or cold high pressure that pumps in. The problem is the front literally comes in a day early, so this is going to be really shallow at times. So that's one of my biggest concerns about this setup is that the cold air isn't really well established. We're kind of trying to do two things at once here, which makes it really difficult to figure this out. So let me show you what the European model shows. Not that I'm going with it, but I'll show you why we're seeing this trend or uptick in the possibility. So Thursday afternoon, you can see the moisture trying to come up and the cold air in place. And you can see there's definitely a rain-snow mix. I don't see this being as an icy or sleet type setup. This really looks to be rain or snow, and probably a lot of rain, to be honest with you, with wet snow. Notice where the highest snowfall right now looks to be based on just this guidance. And I'm going to show you other guidance. Remember, this is a tool. This is not the actual forecast. But there's a lot of indications that this trend could be further to the east, and I'll show you why I think that's going to happen. With small shifts in the position of these two systems, it has a big impact on what we see. If the cold high is back here, I don't like that position. That's too far away. That means we're on the very edge of the flow. Remember, cold air rotates clockwise around high pressure. So the dome or mountain of cold air is centered here. So we're on the very edge. The storm track's down here. That's a no-go for snow for us. But if two things happen, and they really both have to happen, we need the high to be a little bit closer to the Ohio Valley, even the Great Lakes. In a perfect world, that high is right here or right here, where we're right under that. And then the storm tracks just like this, just offshore, that it brings the moisture in. So those things, if this thing changes a little bit or this thing changes a little bit, it changes everything here. People often wonder, why is it so hard to forecast snow? Well, we're not just forecasting rain or clouds. We're forecasting a tenth of a degree difference at 10,000 feet, moisture, cold air. I mean, there's a lot more parameters with snow than there is with any other type of event we have around here. So based on what I'm seeing right now, this is kind of what I'm thinking as far as snowfall potential. Now the mountains, even though that's a high chance, that's probably lesser amounts. That's more just because it's cold enough and there's some northwest flow snow behind the cold front, really. You see across the Piedmont right now, I have a 10 to 30% chance. So some of us might be closer to the 10 or 30. I think the further east you go, you're probably closer to the 30%. And as you go out in eastern North Carolina, this really, honestly, is where, at least right now, I think the highest probability of seeing snow is here, because I think the track is going to be close enough, the air is cold enough, and these inland areas, especially I-95, probably has the best chance of seeing snow. Now, these trends could go up or down, and one thing to always remember with these probabilities, I'm not forecasting amounts of snow right now. I'm just saying chances of basically seeing measurable snow or sleet. That's 1/10 of an inch or more. That's kind of all I know right now. But one thing you got to be careful of, people see this, go, ooh, 10, 30%, 30 to 50%. Well, what's the opposite of that? Well, a 70% of no snow, or 50% chance of no snow. In this case, this is a 90% chance or 70% chance of no snow. So we always kind of focus on the chance of snow, but we forget the chances of nothing are actually higher. And I'm not saying nothing as far as nothing. I'm just saying probably rain or nothing in this case. So just keep that in mind. We really want to be more up in this 50 to 70 or 70, 90 where the confidence grows for potential snowfall. But I do feel comfortable that there's at least enough of a threat that I could put the snow meter at a 2 for the Charlotte area. Now, if I were going to do this for areas maybe out towards Fayetteville, I might go more in the 3 to 4 inch range, or 3 to 4. It's not inches, by the way. It's just 3 to 4. So maybe buy bread and milk. But I think this is really going to end up being a social media event, because this snow is going to be heavy, wet snow. It's going to be marginal temperatures. So the stuff that falls here is likely going to be melting pretty quickly. And even in the overnight hours, it's going to have to come down quickly and be on grassy surfaces. But if there's going to be somebody that gets some snow east of here, I really think it's going to be these areas along the coastal plain. And just to kind of give you an idea where I think that is, I'm going to pause this right here, and I'll zoom this in so you guys can see it. I really think this area in eastern North Carolina, from Raleigh to Fayetteville to Clinton, I mean, these areas to me really at least are going to be right there. And another thing to think about is we don't really know if this low is going to be here. This low is actually not in a great position. I'd rather see this thing about right here. And that would bring much heavier snow. You can see the position of the high is back here, which is better. I mean, that's the thing. So trends to watch for the next couple of days. Does the high shift a little bit further east, and does the low shift a little bit back to the west? If we can get that low right there and the high right there, that gives us the sweet spot of maybe some heavy snow bands on the northwest side of the low, because there usually is what we call a deformation zone forms here if we see that low. But I will caution you that there's still a chance we still get this track where this thing stays way to the south. We call that suppressed, and it pushes down. This is one case where I think our southeast ridge makes me a little gun shy about how close that thing is going to be to us, because we've had this monster ridge here, and that typically, at least in this setup, is not a good sign for snow. But this is by far the best chance of snow I have seen, honestly, this entire winter so far, which isn't saying a whole lot, because we really haven't had anything even remotely close to this setting as we go into Thursday and Friday. So that's all I know for now. There's no snowfall maps to share with you because we're only on Monday. Probably late tomorrow we'll be within 48 hours. That's probably about the time frame that I will start thinking about maybe a snow map of some kind. If not, it'd be first thing on Wednesday, just for planning purposes, to give you a heads up. So hope that helps. And again, please think about Ryan Newman tonight and his family. We're thinking about him and his family tonight. And I will do another vlog tomorrow morning real quickly before I go off to teach class. I'll also be on tonight at 11 on NBC Charlotte if you want to tune in, and I'll have updates there.